He said I wasn't wife material and broke up with me. Said he needed time, space, clarity. I spent months healing, wondering what I did wrong. Then I saw him proposing to someone else with the ring I paid for. I blocked him. Moved on, now 6 months later. You're just not wife material. He said it like a joke. At brunch, at my birthday brunch, Jazz's mimosa froze midair. Deja dropped her fork. Raven blinked 3 times like she was rebooting. The table went dead silent. Even the waiter delivering chicken and waffles to the next table paused like someone had dropped a weapon. I stared at Marcus. What? I said. He smiled nervously. I just mean you're fun, you're amazing, but I've been doing a lot of thinking lately and… Raven stood. Her napkin flew off her lap like it was offended. I swear to God, if you finish that sentence in this restaurant… Sit, Jazz hissed, grabbing Raven's wrist. Deja looked at Marcus like she was doing calculus on how to ruin his credit score. You chose to say that here, on her birthday, with all of us sitting here. Marcus shrugged. I didn't want to lie. Lie, Raven exploded. You paid for bottomless mimosas, not front row seats to your ego trip. Marcus looked around the table, suddenly realizing he'd walked into a public execution. I didn't mean it in a bad way. Oh, you meant it in the sweet way, Jazz cut in. Tell me, what version of your not wife material sounds like a compliment? Enlighten us. He looked at me like I was supposed to save him. I didn't, I sipped my drink. Deja's voice dropped a few decibels. Dangerous. Controlled. Was this supposed to be a soft launch for your new single era? You thought if you broke up with her here, with us present, we'd keep it from becoming messy. Marcus shifted in his seat. I thought if you guys were around, she'd stay calm. Oh, so were your emotional security guards, Raven barked. Guess what, this ain't TSA, you're not walking out clean. Jazz was texting under the table. I caught a glimpse. Group chat, Jazz. This MF said wife material like we were in a CW drama. Marcus started to stammer. Look, I just think we want different things. I need time, space. I want to gain clarity. You're not getting clarity, Raven said. You're getting dragged. Y'all are twisting my words. No, Deja interrupted. We're untwisting the bullsh *T. Jazz looked up from her phone. Remember that time? He needed $300 to fix his brakes. And you gave it to him instead of going to that girl's trip in Miami. I nodded. Raven clapped her hands once. And this man is now sitting here, with gifted brake pads and borrowed dignity, calling you not wife material. Marcus pushed his chair back. I don't think this is productive. Oh, you wanted productive, Raven said, stepping out of her heels. Let's produce a list of everything she did for you in the last year. Deja pulled up her notes app. Do you want it categorized by financial support, emotional labor, or career elevation? The waiter returned with our food, froze mid-delivery, and slowly set down plates like we were wild animals in the middle of a territorial brawl. Jazz leaned over. Sorry, this isn't about you, just put mine in a to-go box. Marcus stood now. I didn't come here to be ganged up on. Raven raised her brow. Then why schedule your execution? He turned to me. I'm sorry. I thought you deserved honesty. Jazz coughed. Oh, now he believes in honesty. Marcus looked at me again. I just don't see us ending in marriage, and I didn't want to keep wasting time. Deja muttered, you wasted our time the second you sat down. I finally spoke. You're done. He hesitated. Yeah. Then go. He opened his mouth, closed it, then nodded and left. Raven watched him exit, then said loudly, don't trip on your cowardice. The table stayed silent for 3 full beats. Then Deja broke it. This man got a whole survival kit from you, love, stability, the good credit, the career coaching, and returned it like a pair of socks from TJ Maxx. Jazz slid her mimosa toward me. Finish mine. You earned it. A woman at a nearby table leaned over. Sorry, I'm not trying to eavesdrop, but did he really say wife material? Yes, all 3 said in unison. The woman whistled. Girl, I'd have thrown the mimosa. Raven. Oh, we're saving that for the next time he gets brave. We paid the bill, split 4 ways, and left the restaurant like a mob walking away from a burning building. Group chat name changed that night. From Sunday Brunch Queens to Wife Material LLC. And just like that, my breakup became a group project, a war council, and no one was getting out clean. Jazz's living room had 2 states, wine night or war zone. Tonight, it was both. She tossed pillows onto the floor like jury seats, dimmed the lights like we were preparing for a seance, and lit a cinnamon candle that had no business smelling that aggressive. Raven showed up with a bottle of red, no corkscrew, just a knife. Deja arrived last, holding a bag of hot Cheetos like an offering to the breakup gods. I was sitting cross-legged on the floor in Jazz's hoodie, staring at the wine glass in my hand like it might file charges on my behalf. No one said, "How are you?" Not this crew. That would have been insulting. Jazz got straight to it. "All right, we're gathered here tonight to process the slanderous act committed at 1:37 p.m. today by a man who said, and I quote, 'You're not wife material.'" Raven held up her phone. "I have the brunch bill, the timestamps, and my memory. All receipts admissible in court." Deja popped a Cheeto in her mouth. "I want to skip to the part where we destroy him." Jazz raised a hand. "Objection. We will destroy him in order." "Proceed," Deja said, bowing slightly. Jazz turned to me. "Now, on a scale of 1 to throw his stuff off the balcony, where are we?" I shrugged, wrong move. Raven leaned forward like a lawyer cross-examining a star witness. "You gave that man 6 months of free labor. You did his taxes, helped him set up that bogus candle business. And he tells you in front of us that you're not built for marriage." Jazz added, "You know he couldn't even spell entrepreneur until you edited his Instagram bio." "I'm aware." "Deja, you're too calm. That makes me nervous." "I'm not calm," I said quietly. "I'm calculating." Raven clapped once. "She's entering her villain era. I like this." Jazz pulled out a journal. "Let's start the breakdown." "What breakdown?" I asked. "The timeline of delusion." She turned to Deja. "When did he first start showing signs of emotional brain rot?" Deja didn't blink. "That weird comment he made at my birthday dinner, remember? When he said, 'Some people are wifed up just because they cook.'" Jazz flipped a page. "Documented." Raven snapped her fingers. "And when he asked if you could tone it down in front of his boss." "Tone what down?" Deja asked. "Her confidence." Jazz poured more wine. "Add it." I sipped my drink and let them do what they do, build a case so tight not even he could slither out. Jazz pulled up screenshots. "Remember this text. He asked you to Venmo him for future investments." Raven's eyes narrowed. "Oh my God, the $1,200. Deja choked. Wait, are we getting to that tonight?" Raven leaned back. "Oh, we're getting to that. But I want to take my time." Jazz turned to me again. "So what exactly did he say in the car after brunch?" I exhaled. "Nothing, he just said, 'I hope we can still be cool.'" Raven tossed a pillow across the room. Cool. "After he detonated your character in front of witnesses." Deja stood and paced. "You know what this is? It's strategic devaluation. He set you up like a stock he planned to sell. He waited until he thought you'd peaked, then tried to cash out." Jazz raised her glass. "To strategic inflation. May his next relationship bankrupt him emotionally." We clinked glasses. Raven pulled out her phone again. "Y'all remember his YouTube channel where he gave relationship advice?" Deja hissed, "Please don't." Jazz laughed. "The same man who said, 'Communication is everything,' but used to leave your texts on read when you said, 'We need to talk.'" Raven scrolled through photos. "Oh, and don't forget this gem. He posted this 2 months ago. 'Real men don't play games, they build.'" Deja snorted. "He's building delusion." Jazz waved her glass. "And now that we've established motive, pattern, and idiocy, let's plan next steps." "Do we go scorched earth?" Raven asked. "No," I said. Everyone turned. I smiled just slightly. "We go surgical." Jazz grinned. "That's our girl." Deja nodded. "She's ready." And I was, because tonight wasn't about feeling sorry for myself. It was about collecting names, dates, and damage. He wanted clarity. We were about to give it to him in high definition. "So let's circle back to that $1,200, Deja said, legs crossed like she was moderating a TED Talk on betrayal. Jazz pulled out her laptop. "Because I've been thinking about that since the mimosa hit my bloodstream." Raven leaned over from the armrest. "He said it was for what again?" I drained my wine. "He said it was a future investment." Jazz paused. "In what?" I looked at her. "He didn't say." "Oh, hell no," Raven said, reaching for her phone. "And we just let that slide." "It was 6 months ago," I muttered. "We were good. He said he needed seed money for something long-term. I assumed it was for that app idea he kept talking about." Deja laughed. The one where people anonymously rate their exes like Yelp. Yeah. Girl, the only thing he should be rating is how fast he can ruin a woman's life. Jazz started typing. Okay, let me pull up his Venmo. You still have it? Raven asked. Jazz nodded. I keep receipts the way men keep old PlayStation controllers, useless but symbolic. She typed Marcus into the search bar. Deja leaned over. What are you looking for? Jazz squinted. Transactions around the time she sent him the money, because if it was a ring. Raven sat up straighter. Oh no. Oh yes. We waited, Jazz scrolled, then. Found it. She held up the laptop like it was a court exhibit. Marcus. $1,200. June 3rd, description, custom order deposit. Deja leaned in. Does it say what it's for? Jazz clicked through. It links to a boutique jeweler's account. Raven gasped. No, 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 no. Jazz, yes. Me what? Raven turned to me, eyes wide. That was a ring deposit. I blinked. No, no, he wouldn't. Jazz tapped the keyboard. The account belongs to Marin and Stone, a custom engagement ring boutique in Buckhead. Deja fell onto the couch. This man really made a down payment on forever using a loan from his ex. I wasn't his ex at the time, I whispered. Jazz added, he knew he was going to propose to someone else, and he still took your money. Raven stood up. He scammed you, romantically, financially, emotionally. We need to call Chase and tell them to flag this as fraudulent activity with delusions of grandeur. Deja put her head in her hands. I can't believe we missed this. Jazz started printing screenshots. We're not missing anything else. This man's entire trail ends here. My mouth was dry. He didn't just break up with me. He funded his next relationship with the ghost of mine. He took love, labor, and $1,200 and turned it into a proposal for someone who never knew my name. Raven was pacing now. We need a plan. We need retaliation. We need a group email. Deja nodded. You still have that man's SSN from when you helped him file his taxes. Don't tempt me, I muttered. Jazz turned the screen around. It gets worse. We all froze. He left a note with the payment. Perfect fit, she'll love it. Deja whispered, I'm gonna scream. Raven did, scream. Jazz grabbed her purse. No, no, we don't confront, we wait. Deja frowned. Wait for what? For the implosion, Jazz said. Because if he bought a ring, he's going to use it. Raven raised her brows. You think he hasn't yet? Jazz shrugged. If he has, we'll know. Men like that can't keep a secret. Especially when they think they've won. I sat down, hard. Raven crouched in front of me. Say the word and we'll launch a 4-woman emotional recovery unit. I'm talking letters to his job, anonymous Yelp reviews, a TikTok that goes viral with the right sound. Deja added, I'll film it in 4K. I shook my head. Not yet. Jazz raised a glass. Then we watch and we wait. Raven, and when he slips. Deja, we burn it all. It started with a DM from someone I didn't follow. Profile name, Kira does lunges. Message preview. Not sure if you know. I opened it. Hey, I go to Bodycon gym, same one Marcus trains at. I follow you because I love your outfits. But, not sure if you know, he's proposing to someone tonight. She attached a story. I didn't click it right away. My fingers locked. My heart didn't pound, it stopped. I passed the phone to Jazz without a word. She saw the preview, read the message, then looked at me like I'd just handed her a live grenade. I need a witness, she said. She threw the phone to Deja, who was mid-bite of popcorn. Deja took one glance, froze, then hissed, Nope, not tonight. Raven looked up from painting her nails. What happened? Jazz. We have eyes on the target. Raven stood so fast her nail polish flew across the couch. Who, what, where? Jazz pressed play. The story opened with a rooftop dinner, string lights, live violinist, guests clapping. Then the camera panned to Marcus. On one knee, ring in hand. Jazz turned the phone toward me slowly like she was revealing a crime scene photo. And there it was, the ring, my ring, the one he paid for with my money. The one I thought was an investment. Raven stared. Oh, he's bold. Deja, no, he's deranged. Jazz, he's about to be deceased. I stood, walked to the bathroom, didn't cry, didn't scream. Just splashed water on my face and tried to breathe. When I came back out, Raven had her phone pressed to her ear. Yeah, Kira, this is Raven. No, we haven't met, but listen, thank you. Seriously. You just gave us justice on a plate. Deja poured a shot of tequila. Emergency protocol. I knocked it back. Jazz was already uploading the video to our group cloud folder labeled Evidence Marcus the Menace. The room was spinning, but not from the alcohol. It was the betrayal being live-streamed. The same man who told me I wasn't wife material was proposing to someone else within the same calendar year with the money I gave him. Raven muttered, "This is a federal offense. I'm calling Karma and reporting him for identity theft." Jazz handed me my phone. Want to respond to Kira. I shook my head. Deja typed for me. Thanks for letting me know, that ring. I paid for it. 2 seconds later, Kira replied. What? Jazz, we should sell this to Netflix. Raven, forget Netflix. This is Dateline Petty Edition. My cousin Jade FaceTimed from across town. She'd already seen the story reposted by someone else. I just saw your ex propose. Isn't that your ring? I nodded. Jazz yelled in the background, she paid for it. Jade screamed, you paid for it. Add her to the thread, Deja said. We added her to the group chat. Wife Material LLC. She replied, we ride at dawn. Raven pulled out her speaker, cued Beyoncé's Sorry, and turned it all the way up. I collapsed onto the couch. Jazz sat beside me. You okay? I laughed, not a happy laugh. The kind of laugh that feels like breaking glass. Yeah, I said. I just watched the man who said I wasn't wife material propose to someone else with the ring I funded. Deja raised her glass. May his engagement be as stable as his Wi-Fi. Raven nodded. And may she find out before the wedding that her fairy tale was crowdfunded by your heartbreak. Jazz whispered, this is your villain origin story. I shook my head. No, this is my hero arc. Because I wasn't gonna beg, or text him, or confront her. No, I was gonna make a comeback so loud even the algorithm wouldn't let him forget. I'm casting it, Jazz said, already tapping her phone. Are you sure? Deja asked. She needs to see it, Raven snapped. She deserves to watch the exact moment he forgot who built him. The TV lit up, my stomach dropped. There he was, in 4K on one knee. Outside some fancy rooftop event space with fairy lights and a private violinist playing a slow rendition of Best Part. Marcus was holding a ring box open like he hadn't borrowed my money to make this moment happen. Jazz turned up the volume. I knew from the moment I met you, Marcus was saying, his voice coming through the soundbar like a haunting. That's my speech, I whispered. What? Deja snapped her head toward me. I said that to him. On his birthday, 2 years ago. Raven hissed. Oh, so now he's plagiarizing your lines too. The girl he was proposing to, some blonde in a champagne satin dress, giggled and said yes. People clapped. Someone off-screen said she's glowing. Deja threw popcorn at the TV. She's glowing because she's wearing stolen property. Jazz hit pause. The screen froze on Marcus hugging his fiancée. The ring sparkled, my ring. Deja was already recording on her phone. I'm making a reaction video, she said. We need to remember this when he crawls back like a sad squirrel. Jazz hit play again. Then Deja flipped the camera to me. Tell the people how much the ring cost, Queen. $1,200, I muttered. Raven stormed into the kitchen, came back with tequila and solo cups. We're taking a shot every time he says something you literally taught him. I'll be dead in 5 minutes, I muttered. Exactly, she said. Jazz paused the video again. Marcus was hugging his new fiancée. In the background, someone had propped up a handmade sign that said, From dating to destiny. Raven screamed, Destiny, you were supposed to be his destiny. Deja zoomed in. Wait, hold up, is that Kevin in the background? Jazz squinted. Kevin from his gym. Yes. Raven gasped. The one who said you were like a sister to him. Oh, I'm sending him a voice note, Deja said, unlocking her phone like a hitman. Jazz turned to me. What do you want to do? I was quiet, staring at the screen. Watching a man I loved perform a proposal using pieces of me. The words, the ring, the playlist, and not a flicker of shame in his face. Do you want us to turn it off? Jazz asked softly. I shook my head. Turn it up. Deja hit record again. This, I said to the camera, is what happens when you date a man who thinks potential is a personality. Raven cackled. Jazz raised her glass. To closure. To karma, Deja added. To the IRS investigating that Venmo note, Raven smirked. We drank. We rewound. We watched it again. And this time, I didn't cry, I didn't flinch, I memorized. Because when he comes crawling back, and we know he will, I'll already have the playback ready. And Deja's video? Yeah, she posted it to our close friend's story with the caption, "When he proposes with the ring she paid for." The responses came flooding in within minutes. NOOOO. Girl, this is wild. Do we fight or bake her a cake? The audacity in HD. I'm charging my crystals RN I can't. The heartbreak was real, but the content also real. And in that moment, surrounded by my girls, my pain didn't shrink, it got shared. And that was power. Everyone got wine? Jazz asked. Raven raised her glass. Merlot loaded. Deja pulled out her phone like a weapon. Wi-Fi is strong, emotions are stronger. We were seated on the floor, legs crossed, bottles open, revenge on tap. A laptop was plugged into the TV again, this time not for trauma, but triumph. Jazz handed me a remote like she was knighting me. You ready, Your Majesty? I exhaled, let's do it. Welcome to the block party, first tab. Instagram, Jazz said. Marcus_legacy_strong, bold choice for someone so emotionally weak. I searched, there he was. Still posting gym selfies and vague quotes like, sometimes silence is the loudest answer. Raven snorted. Let's make it permanent then. I opened his profile, hovered over the 3 dots, clicked, block. A cheer erupted. Jazz hit the air horn app on her phone. Deja did a shot of tequila. Raven tossed confetti she'd made from a tissue box and glitter. One down, I said. Next. Facebook, Deja opened hers too. Let's block him together. Ready? 1, 2, bye Marcus. Snapchat, Raven, gone. His Bitmoji never deserved that fade. LinkedIn, Jazz gasped. Oh yes, delete him from your professional aura. I opened his profile, the one I literally helped him build. Clicked, remove connection, block. Raven raised her glass. That's for every time, he said. I'm still figuring things out, while living off your emotional credit line. Next, Twitter, Jazz read his bio out loud. Reclaiming my narrative, faith, family, fitness. Deja choked on her drink. Reclaiming whose narrative? Raven shook her head. He's writing fan fiction about himself. Blocked group chat, gone. His mom's number deleted. His ex-fiancée's Venmo, blocked before temptation struck. Every shared calendar event, photo album, and Dropbox folder gone. Jazz played Beyoncé's Irreplaceable in the background while Deja updated the whiteboard titled, Marcus Erasure Scoreboard. Okay, Deja said. We've blocked him from your socials, your workspace, your phone, your memories, your Wi-Fi, your playlist, and your future. Jazz grinned, now we toast. I stood, glass in hand. Girls flanking me like security and backup dancers. To the man who thought I'd beg. To the man who used my money to buy a ring for a woman who probably thinks he's self-made. Deja added. To the man who said I wasn't wife material, Raven said, raising hers higher. While eating lasagna she made and living in a home she cleaned and healing with the therapy she paid for. We clinked glasses. Jazz added to being our own closure. We drank, and it wasn't even sadness anymore. It was ceremony. Deja hit play on a TikTok she'd made that afternoon. It was just a montage of Marcus's worst quotes, each one captioned and overlaid with a clown horn. You're overthinking it. I just need clarity. You're amazing, just not my future. Clown honk, confetti, Jazz cried laughing. Raven sent it to 4 group chats. Someone knocked on the door. Jazz opened it, it was her neighbor from across the hall, Tasha. I saw your TikTok, I brought cupcakes. We let her in, we added her to the circle. The block party turned into a full-blown exorcism. We ate, drank, and deleted. And every time someone said Marcus, we hit a soundboard button labeled Trash Can Slam. That night, I slept like a queen, no texts, no notifications, no ghost ring in my soul. Just a full inbox of love, a hard block list, and a heart that finally felt unburdened. 6 months. That's how long it took to feel like myself again. And not just the old self, the pre-Marcus version with starry eyes and soft boundaries, but the woman I'd become because of him. The one who moved cities. The one who built something from the rubble he left. Deja and I launched Lux Boxed, a curated gifting brand. It started with breakup boxes, chocolates, tissue packs, petty socks, and grew into a full-blown e-commerce hustle. We sold out on Valentine's Day. Twice. I lived in a tiny two-bedroom with velvet curtains and no trace of his cologne. I had a new morning playlist, a new hair color, and Kellen. We weren't serious, not yet. But he knew how to order Thai without me repeating myself. He laughed at the same movies. He texted back like a man who wasn't allergic to communication. He didn't ask for healing I couldn't give. He just showed up. Even my dad noticed. "You're lighter," he said one Sunday after brunch. My sister nodded. "Your ex would have hated this version of you." "Good, let him." I was busy. Too busy to check my phone during work hours. Too busy to chase people who left mid-story. Until the missed calls started. First one, then two, then five, all from an unknown number, local. I ignored them, then came the text. "Hey, it's me." That was it, no name, no greeting, just me. Raven saw it first. We were at the new office space doing inventory when I tossed her my phone. She stared at the screen. "Oh no." Deja looked over her shoulder. "Don't tell me." Jazz replied in the group chat within 2 minutes. Jazz. The audacity resurrected. "DEJA, do we send glitter bombs or emotional subpoenas?" "Raven, I've been training for this." I didn't answer the text, didn't need to. I was busy printing shipping labels and sorting custom breakup candles, with names like Boy Bye and Red Flag Vanilla. Deja handed me one. "Light this when men start remembering who they fumbled." The next day, another text. "I've been thinking about you." I showed it to Kellen. He glanced at the screen, handed it back calmly. "Block him." No jealousy, no questions, just clarity. But I didn't block him, not yet, not because I cared, but because I wanted to see what came next. The apology, the gaslight remix. The "I was going through something" saga, Jazz made bingo cards, excuses Marcus will use. I wasn't ready. You were always the one. That proposal didn't mean anything. I see it now. I changed. God told me. The girls laughed, but I didn't, not because I was hurt, but because he still thought I was the same girl he left behind. And he had no idea. I'd become someone who didn't need closure. I'd built my own future. And now, he was the one knocking. It came in at 11:04 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was in bed, half asleep, face buried in a lavender-scented pillow when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Voicemail. I didn't listen, not right away. Instead, I screenshotted the notification and dropped it in the group chat. "Me. Guess who left a voicemail?" "Raven, is it a long-winded apology or a 3-part Netflix pitch?" "DJA, tell me it starts with 'I've been doing a lot of thinking.'" "Jazz. Or 'I had to lose you to love me.'" "KELLAN, yes, he was in the chat now. Should we hold a listening party?" The girls demanded playback. So the next day, during lunch at the office, we sat around the conference table with boxed salads, ring lights still set up from product shoots, and petty hearts brimming with curiosity. I hit play. His voice came through, low and syrupy like he was performing spoken word. "Hey, I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from." Deja snorted. "Correct. But I've been doing a lot of thinking." Jazz held up her bingo card. Boom. "I know I messed up. I just didn't realize how much until it was too late. I see you've been doing big things. I saw the Luxboxed thing." "That's amazing." Raven muttered, so now he's stalking. "You always believed in me before I did. I miss that. I miss you." Everyone made the same face. Like a collective cringe wave passed through the room. "I'm not expecting anything. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For how I left, for everything." Silence. "I hope you're happy. I really do." Beep. Deja picked up a Sharpie and drew a gravestone on the whiteboard. "Here lies Marcus's last shred of relevance." Jazz reached for a protein bar. "So let me get this straight. He proposed to another woman with your money, ghosted you, disappeared for half a year, and now, because he saw a LinkedIn update and a cute candle reel, he suddenly found clarity." Raven. "He's not sorry, he's nostalgic." Deja and bored. Jazz and broke. Raven threw a Cheeto. "He probably thought Luxboxed was a dating app. That's the level of intellect we're dealing with." I didn't say anything. Not because I was emotional, but because I knew what came next. He was testing the line, and if I said anything, he'd take it as permission to sprint. I opened the group chat again. "ME, should I reply?" Kellen typed fast. "KELLAN, nah. Let the voicemail be his diary. You're not a therapist." Jazz pinned. Deja added, "Don't respond, archive, document, move." Raven, or respond with a QR code to therapy. Jazz, or a refund policy. I laughed for real. Not the post-breakup laugh that sounds like a wound closing, but the kind that says, I'm good. Because he'd finally said everything I once begged him to. But now I had everything he never gave me: peace, a plan, and people who never needed a voicemail to remember my value. It started with a screenshot from Raven. No caption, just the image. Her phone lock screen with an Instagram DM notification. From, at Olivia with a heart. Message, did you know he proposed to me with someone else's money? I was in the middle of restocking breakup bundles, candles labeled, blocked, and unbothered. And he's your ex, not your emergency. I dropped a box. Deja, standing beside me, blinked at the screen. What the actual? Jazz practically flew in from the next room. No, 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 no. Raven looked up from her laptop. She sent that to me, not you. I think she thinks I'm you. Deja grabbed the phone. Respond. Jazz. Don't. Deja, why not? This is what we've been waiting for. Raven, let's get facts first. I held up a hand. Pause. The room went still. I took Raven's phone and read the message again, this time slowly, letting it sink into my skin like salt. Did you know he proposed to me with someone else's money? This wasn't speculation. This wasn't a guess. This was a woman who'd been on the other side of the same lie. The one Marcus sold to me months ago under the pretense of a future investment. This was his fiancé, or maybe ex-fiancé now. Deja whispered, text her. Jazz said, hold on. Let's do this right. She grabbed the Bluetooth speaker. We are not doing this without theme music. She hit play. Before I Let Go by Beyoncé, Raven poured wine into paper cups. Deja muted the office intercom. This is now a board meeting. I typed me, I know what he did, want to compare notes. It took all of 45 seconds before she responded. Olivia, yes, so badly. She didn't waste time. Within the hour, I had a full message thread, screenshots of her Venmo history, DMs, even a Google Doc titled The Marcus Report. Deja wheezed, she organized it. Raven, she's a Virgo. Jazz, or a Scorpio with a spreadsheet addiction. Olivia had itemized the timeline. It matched mine almost to the day. The weekend he told me he needed space, he had flown out to see her. The week he ghosted me after the not wife material brunch, he'd been shopping for rings with my money. The week after he proposed to her, he blocked her mom for asking too many questions, and now she was the one asking. Olivia. I ended it 3 weeks ago when he said he couldn't get over someone from his past. I didn't know it was you. I reread that line 5 times. Someone from his past. He meant me, but not because he loved me. Because I never let him explain. Because I'd vanished without a dramatic scene or a final fight. Because I blocked him before he could turn his version into our ending. Jazz raised a brow. She didn't know it was you. Raven. He told her I was his business investor, not an ex. Deja, what? Jazz clutched her chest. Not him turning heartbreak into Shark Tank. Olivia's next message was simple. I'm sorry. I exhaled. She didn't owe me an apology. She was played, same as I was, but hearing it was like opening a window in a room I didn't know had gone stuffy. I texted back. He wanted to make us both feel lucky, while he gave us leftovers. She heart-reacted the message, then asked the question we all knew was coming. Can I call you? Jazz, Raven, and Deja all shouted, yes. Kellen, who had just walked in with boba tea, froze. What's happening? Deja handed him a cup. Sit. Drama. We put Olivia on speaker. Her voice shook at first, then steadied. He told me you were an investor, that you believed in his tech app idea, whatever that means, and gave him a loan. I thought it was weird, but I wanted to be supportive. Jazz whispered, she's nicer than I am. I didn't realize how much he was hiding until I found the photos, Olivia continued. What photos? I asked. There was a pause. Then she said, the ones from your trip to Puerto Rico. I sat down. That was almost a year ago, I said. I know, she replied. But they were in a hidden folder on his laptop, labeled Muse. Raven dropped her cup. Deja hissed. He kept your pictures. Jazz muttered, oh, he's spiraling for real. I didn't speak for a moment. Not because I was emotional, but because I was done being confused. This man had built lies like Lego castles, stacked with cheap manipulation and self-delusion. And when it all collapsed, he still didn't own it. He just started over. tried to recycle love like it was disposable. Jazz leaned over and whispered, "Tell her about the voicemail." So I played it on speaker. Olivia gasped. He said the same thing to me, same wording. Deja scribbled in a notebook, "This is a sociopath's mad lib." We laughed, not because it was funny, but because we were both free. He didn't get to keep us in his orbit. He didn't get closure. He didn't even get credit. By the end of the call, Olivia said something that stuck with me. "I hope you keep thriving." I hope he sees it and chokes. Jazz raised her cup, "To women who compare notes." Deja added, "And don't compete for crumbs." Raven, "And men who learn the hard way. Don't play two queens when you're not even a pawn." We clinked paper cups, then blocked him, again, together. It was Raven's idea to throw the dinner party. "A little glam, a little gossip, a lot of cheese boards," she said, already texting the group. "We deserve a night off from processing men." The theme was soft glam, candles everywhere. Silk napkins folded like fortunes. Jazz curated a playlist called Healing But Petty, think SZA, Beyoncé, and just enough Celine Dion to make you feel like a tragic queen on the rise. I was swirling my second glass of wine, sitting between Deja and Kellen when my phone lit up. Unknown caller, Deja leaned over. "It's him." Raven froze mid-toast. Jazz put it on speaker. Kellen raised a brow. "Do it." The table fell quiet. I hesitated, then pressed accept. "Hello." A pause, then his voice, tentative, like he was trying to sound casual but couldn't quite fake calm. "Hey. I didn't think you'd pick up." Raven whispered, "And yet here we are." He continued, "I've been calling for weeks. I just wanted to talk, to clear the air, maybe apologize." Deja, already holding up a butter knife like a dagger, whispered, "The air was clear when you vanished." He went on, unaware of his audience. "I know I hurt you, and I hate how I handled things. I've been seeing everything you've done, your business, your posts. You look amazing." Jazz-mouthed, predictable, Kellen, "Wow, he even sounds shorter." Then came the line we all knew was coming. "I miss you." There it was, soft, cowardly, weighted in nostalgia, not remorse. I didn't answer right away. I could feel every eye on me. "Waiting," he said, "I think about you all the time. About how we left things. I wish we could just start fresh." That's when Raven reached over, tapped the mic button, and whispered, "Drop him." So I did, not with volume, but with silence that struck. I took a breath and said calmly, "You once told me I wasn't wife material, that I wasn't what you needed, and I believed you for 5 minutes. Then I remembered I paid for the ring you gave someone else." The table gasped. He stammered, "Wait, listen, I can explain." I didn't let him. "I don't want an explanation. I want a refund. But since that's unlikely, I'll settle for this. I'm not calling you to fight." I answered so you could hear what you lost. Loud and clear. Jazz leaned back, mic dropped. "I'm not bitter," I continued. "I'm better. And every woman at this table watched me build the life you couldn't see past your ego." He was quiet now. I could hear him breathing. "Also," I added, "your ex-fiancé says hi." That's when the call disconnected. Whether he hung up or the universe did it for him, I'll never know. But the room exploded. Raven stood and poured champagne for everyone. To answering when you're not mad, but majestic. Jazz played God is a Woman. Deja opened a second bottle. And Kellen, he leaned in and said, just loud enough for me to hear, "You're absolutely wife material. He just couldn't afford you." He texted the next morning. The message was longer than any he'd ever sent when we were together. "I know I messed up. I've been doing a lot of thinking. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want to talk, face to face, one last time." I read it twice, handed the phone to Jazz, and sipped my smoothie. She squinted. "Did he proofread this with ChatGPT?" Deja peeked over her shoulder. "He wants a clean ending. He's trying to edit his IMDb credits." "Raven, you're not giving him closure. You're giving him court." Still, I agreed to meet. Not because I wanted answers, but because I finally had the strength to hear his. But I wasn't showing up alone. Jazz and Deja came with me, sitting at a table near the back of the cafe, dressed like they were headed to a deposition. Jazz had a notepad. Deja had the kind of sunglasses that made her look like a pie. I didn't ask questions. I walked in first. He stood as I approached, nervous, eager, like a man who knew this was his final audition. "Hey," he said. I sat, said nothing. "I wasn't sure you'd come," he added. I glanced at my watch. "I've got 30 minutes. Start talking." He inhaled like he was about to launch into a monologue. I was scared, he said. Of commitment, of not being enough. You were doing everything, career, friends, planning our future, I felt. Small. From across the room, I saw Deja scribbling "so why lie, though?" on her napkin and flash it at Jazz. He continued, "When I said you weren't wife material, I didn't mean it like that. I meant I wasn't ready. I thought maybe I needed something different, simpler. But it turns out simpler is just emptier." Jazz, watching, whispered to Deja, "He's really doing the 'you were too good for me' speech." I crossed my legs and tilted my head. "So let's recap. You weren't ready, you needed space. But you were ready enough to buy a ring with my money for someone else." He swallowed. "That wasn't planned, I didn't mean to hurt you." "That's funny," I said, leaning forward, "because Deja reminded me of the exact day I sent you that loan. Raven has the Venmo screenshots. Jazz has your fiancé's DM. I came with backup. You came with excuses." His eyes darted around. He saw them now, my personal tribunal, watching silently like the avengers of emotional justice. "I wanted to apologize in person," he tried again. "I miss you, all of you, the way you lit up a room. How you believed in me." "You mean how I bankrolled your fairy tale?" I asked. He winced. "That's not fair." "No," I corrected. "What's not fair is lying to me, proposing to someone else, and then spinning a sob story when it falls apart." His voice cracked. "I know I can't take it back, but if there's even a chance." "There's not," I cut in. From across the cafe, Jazz raised her cup. "Why are you really here?" I asked. He blinked. "What?" "You're not here because you love me. You're here because you lost everything. You want comfort, not accountability." He didn't answer, so I stood. "Thanks for the closure," I said, and from the back table, Deja yelled, "You can Venmo her that refund now." I should have known it wouldn't end at the cafe. The next morning, I got a call from Aunt Beverly. Now, Aunt Bev was the kind of woman who believed in fixing things. Marriages, crockpots, family feuds. She once single-handedly got two of our uncles to speak again after a 20-year grudge over a stolen lawnmower. But she also believed, deeply, that love, no matter how bruised, deserved one last stitch. "Sweetheart," she said, her voice already too soft. He reached out to me. I paused, spoon halfway to my mouth. "What?" "He said he's been trying to make things right. That he knows he failed you and he's sorry. He asked if I'd help." "Help what exactly?" "Just maybe talk to you. He thinks there's still something left worth saving." I laughed, bitter, tired, familiar. "Aunt Bev, did he also mention the part where he proposed to someone else with my money?" She sighed. "He said he panicked, that he thought he wanted different, but it was wrong. He's lost, baby. You know men, sometimes they come back when they realize what they had." I didn't answer. I was too busy trying not to scream. "I'm not saying take him back," she continued, "but maybe hear him out again. Closure matters." I let that sit. "He had closure," I said finally. "He just didn't like what came after." Later that afternoon, my dad called. And let me tell you, my dad does not call often. He texts in all caps, uses the wrong emojis, and still thinks LOL means lots of love. But when he does call, it's for one of three things: emergencies, birthdays, or blood. "You got a minute?" he asked. "Yeah." "Your mother told me about your aunt and the boy." "Oh," he exhaled, long and annoyed. "Tell that young man to lose my number." I blinked. "Wait, he reached out to you too." "Texted, said he missed you. Wanted to talk, asked for advice." "Advice?" "He called me sir," which was already a red flag, my dad grumbled. "Said he's changed, said he's sorry, said he wants to earn your trust back." I told him he can go earn a therapist. I choked on laughter. "Dad, baby girl, I saw how you looked when he left, and I've seen how you've looked since. One version of you was shrinking. The other? That woman built her own damn ladder." I smiled, eyes burning. "Thanks, Dad. And tell Bev to stop playing Cupid," he added. "She still owes me $50 from that lawnmower bet." That evening, I told the group what happened. Jazz nearly dropped her wine. Raven screamed, "He's building a family reunion tour." Deja said, "This man out here collecting elders like Pokémon." They all agreed this wasn't about love, it was about damage control, reputation recovery. The slow realization that the world had seen his mistake and I hadn't flinched. So I didn't call him, didn't reply to the second message, or the third. Instead, I poured a glass of wine, sent my dad a LOL, he responded with you too, and deleted Aunt Bev's voice note with a smile. Because I knew something now, families may forgive, but I remember. It was a Thursday, normal, boring even. Deja and I had just finished our third back-to-back client call at the new co-working space we were renting downtown. She was across from me in a world's okayest manager, hoodie, half asleep and balancing an iced matcha on her knee. I was mid-email, editing a proposal when my phone buzzed with a text from Amanda, my assistant. Amanda, 12:44 p.m. You have an unscheduled visitor. Amanda, 12:44 p.m. Like flowers in hand kind of visitor. Amanda, 12:45 p.m. Girl, it's him. I froze mid-keystroke, blinked. Deja caught the change in my face before I even said a word. What? I tilted the screen to her, her eyes widened. No, he did not. I grabbed my phone and typed back. Me, 12:45 p.m., don't let him in. Amanda, 12:46 p.m., too late, he's already in the lobby. Asked for you by full name. Amanda, 12:46 p.m., the front desk guy let him through because he said it was personal. Amanda, 12:47 p.m., this man just offered Diane at reception a bouquet like we're in a Hallmark film. Amanda, 12:47 p.m. I'm live texting this to the staff Slack BTW. Hope that's okay. Deja stood, cracking her knuckles like a boxer before a match. I'll go intercept. Deja. No, you worked too hard for this piece. He doesn't get to hijack your work day like some rom-com villain. She stormed off. I followed slower, less rage, more disbelief. By the time I got to the hallway, I could hear his voice. I just want to talk to her, please. And then, Deja, please, I'm not trying to cause a scene. You are the scene, Deja snapped. You're a flashback in a building that only screens premieres now. I turned the corner. There he was, holding peonies, my favorite. Wearing the blue shirt I once said made him look like he had a job on purpose. The front desk guy, Diane, Amanda, even the building maintenance guy had stopped to watch. I crossed my arms. What are you doing here? I asked. He turned like he hadn't expected I'd show up. I needed to see you. You blocked my number. I didn't know how else. So you showed up at my job. I wasn't trying to disrespect your space. You disrespected my space when you stood at that brunch table and told me I wasn't wife material in front of my friends. Murmurs. Diane muttered damn under her breath. He stepped closer. I messed up, I know that now. Deja, 12 months, 2 proposals, 1 stolen ring later. Got it. He winced. I thought maybe we could talk privately. No, I said. If you have something to say, you can say it here. In front of the people who saw me put myself back together after you left me in pieces. He hesitated, then held out the flowers. I didn't take them. I'm sorry, he said. I'm not expecting anything. I just needed to tell you I was wrong. About you, about everything. Amanda took out her phone. This is so going on Slack, she whispered to Diane. I looked at the bouquet, then back at him. Keep your apology. Keep your peonies. Keep your regrets. You're not the first man to confuse a woman's value with his own immaturity, and you won't be the last. I turned to walk away. But then, for good measure, I added over my shoulder. Next time you want closure, try therapy, not public ambush. Applause, literal applause, even Diane clapped. As Deja and I walked back to our workspace, she handed me her phone. Slack already voted, she said. That was legendary. Raven's birthday was never a quiet affair. She celebrated like a woman who survived something because she had. Every year, her party was less about getting older and more about proving that joy was a middle finger to anyone who ever underestimated her. This year, she rented out the rooftop of a restaurant in Midtown. String lights, a live DJ, everyone in pink and gold. The group chat had been counting down for weeks. When I arrived with Deja and Jazz, the air was already buzzing. Raven spotted us from across the patio, her arms wide. There she is, the empire builder herself. I hugged her tight. Happy birthday, woman. Thank you, she said, pulling back. And thank you for letting me use your vendor list. This place is chef's kiss. The night unfolded in glitter. Laughter spilled like champagne. Kellen, yes, that Kellen, the tall startup guy with dimples and actual emotional intelligence, had RSVP'd but texted that he'd be late. I wasn't mad, I was glowing. Then, at exactly 9:47 p.m., Jazz's smile dropped. She was mid-sip when her face froze. Oh, hell no. What? I asked. She turned me toward the elevator, and there he was, him, uninvited. Wearing some tragic cologne. Holding another damn bouquet, this one red roses, like he was Romeo without the brains. I couldn't move. Deja was already walking. Jazz followed. Raven hadn't seen him yet. She was at the mic, making a toast. Deja blocked his path before he could even hit the patio. You weren't invited. I just want to talk to her. She doesn't want to talk to you. I need 5 minutes. You used up your minutes the day you proposed to another woman with her money. Guests started turning. People watched, phones tilted slightly as some began filming. Then Raven's voice echoed through the speaker. Wait. She was standing by the mic stand, one brow raised, the birthday sash slung over one shoulder like a general's medal. Is that who I think it is? He looked up, clearly not realizing the woman on the mic was the same woman who nearly flipped a brunch table on his ass. Raven tilted her head. You really walked into my birthday party. He opened his mouth, she cut him off. Let me save you the trouble. She gestured to the DJ, who immediately turned the music down. Everyone, may I have your attention for just one moment. The rooftop went quiet. This man, she pointed, told my best friend she wasn't wife material, then proposed to another woman with her money. Then came crawling back, once he realized you can't build a kingdom on lies and ego. Gasps, laughter, someone whispered damn under their breath. He is not a guest, he is not a romantic gesture. He is a case study in what happens when someone mistakes a woman's loyalty for a ladder. The mic dropped, literally, she dropped it. Cheers erupted. The DJ turned the music back up without being asked. People started chanting bye, bye. Bye like it was NSYNC in 2001. He stood frozen, flowers limp in his hand, face pale. Deja patted him on the shoulder. Time to go. Jazz held open the elevator, and I stood back and let it happen. No words. No flinch, just one long sip of champagne. Because that night, I didn't need to defend myself. My circle did it for me. There's something unexplainably beautiful about quiet mornings after loud endings. 6 months ago, I thought healing would look like revenge. Like some dramatic monologue delivered in a tight dress with mascara tears and a crowd gasping in the background. But turns out, healing looks more like a Sunday. No makeup. No drama. Just sunlight slanting through my kitchen window while Raven, Deja, Jazz, and I pass around cinnamon rolls that Deja swears were made from scratch, but suspiciously smell like cinnabon. Tell the truth, Jazz says, licking icing off her finger. You microwaved these. Lies, Deja throws a napkin at her. That's handmade sugar fatigue you're tasting. We're sitting on the floor of my new apartment. It's not huge, but it's mine. There's a framed photo on the shelf, me at my soft launch event for the skincare brand Deja, and I built together. We called it wife material, obviously. I glance over and smile. Not because I'm thinking of him, but because I'm not anymore. Remember when you almost cried over a ring? Raven says with a grin. Now you own a business and have 3 banks begging you to open a line of credit. I raise my coffee mug. To tears that pay dividends. We all laugh, but it's not fake laughter. It's not the kind you force when your world's unraveling and your friends are trying to glue you together with mimosas and murder plots. It's real, rooted. I know who I am now. I was the woman who once waited for someone to choose me. Now, I choose me. I was the woman who once paid for a man's engagement ring and cried when I watched him give it to someone else. Now I buy my own jewelry, not to feel worthy, but to celebrate the fact that I always was. Last week, I took a solo trip to Sedona. I hiked in silence. I cried at the top of a canyon, not because I was sad, but because I wasn't. I thought of everything I'd lost and felt weightless. The phone rings. Jazz peeks at the caller ID. It's him again. I raise an eyebrow. I blocked him again, she says. From my phone this time, just in case. Deja passes me her phone. Check this. It's a photo from last night's party. Raven holding the mic. Me in the background, glass raised, chin high. The caption. Wife material, she's empire material. I laugh, and then I do something I didn't know I needed to do. I walk over to the drawer where I keep old receipts just in case. The petty folder. The one with the screen recordings, screenshots, and scribbled notes I kept from the chaos. I pull it out, flip through it one last time, then toss the whole thing into the fireplace. Jazz claps slowly. It's giving spiritual arson. Flames crackle, paper curls, and with every burn I feel lighter. I don't need proof of who he was, I say. I am the proof of who I became. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you all.